What up, OGs? Welcome back to another episode of the OG Sessions podcast. I'm your host, Nick Usher. Let's get it started. What up, OGs? Welcome back to another episode of the OG Sessions podcast. Man, I am super stoked about this one. We got a very special episode for you guys today. This is not going to be your generic OG Sessions episode where we got an artist or entrepreneur or someone, someone random in here. This is someone very close to me. This is somebody that I've spent basically my whole fucking life with. And I'm super excited to introduce him to you guys. But before we get started, let me go ahead and introduce who's going to be co-hosting with me today. Also someone who knows our guest very, very well. It's the man, Joey Allen.
What up, guys? I'm happy to be here.
Yes,
I think we're gonna have a lot of fun today.
He's back. Let me see that molar real quick because it's been a few weeks since we had you on the show. Ooh, that baby flapping in the wind, man. It's looking curly. It's
curly, yeah.
I like it. How you feeling with it?
Initially, I did not like it, but it's growing
I remember.
on me. I think that the sides were cut a little too short, but they've grown out now, so it looks better.
Good. Yeah, it's popping, man. I like it. It's definitely
it.
You're rocking it well. We were on the golf course the other day, and that thing was blowing in the wind, and I
feel like that's a perfect fit for the mullet. Is like a golfer's outfit. I don't know.
Yep.
It looks good in a polo.
100%, man. So, how excited are you for today's episode?
Oh, it's gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
Love Randy. He's a good guy.
I'm stoked.
Had a lot of
this
good
one.
times together.
We've definitely been hyped on this one for a minute, man. Before we get started, make sure if you guys are listening to us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, wherever you're listening, make sure you give us that 5-star rating. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure that you comment, let us know what you guys want to see more on the podcast, and just interact with those posts, man. And if you are watching on YouTube, shout out to all our YouTube members and all our YouTube listeners. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment, interact, tell us how you're feeling, man. And also, you already know where to find that exclusive content, man. I tell you guys every single week, the Patreon is popping, man. Joey's been in multiple Patreon-only episodes, man. Tell me about those episodes, bro. How is that shit?
Every episode I've been in is fun, man.
Yeah.
We always have a good time, have some good conversations.
We always get a little bit deeper than usual in the Patreon, and you guys are going to find see a different side of me and Joey when you join that Patreon, man. So head over to patreon.com/OG Sessions, man. Choose a membership that's right for you, and join that family, man, because it's getting lit over there, and we're definitely building something great over on the OG Sessions Patreon.
Shout out to you guys.
For sure. But let's get right into it, baby. Please give a round of applause for my brother, Randy Trousdell.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! He's here.
Thanks for having me on. I'm honestly pretty excited.
How you feeling, bro?
Feeling good. Feeling nervous.
Okay.
I stream streaming on Twitch is one thing. You would think that'd be worse because you're live, and basically if you fuck up, it's there.
Yeah.
And for some reason here, you can kind of edit it out. So I feel like I should be a little relaxed. We'll get into it.
For sure.
First podcast. So I'll.
This is your first ever podcast?
Yeah.
Really? Damn, I'm surprised by that. But yeah, man, we're gonna make it super chill, and I feel like this is. I'm way more comfortable with this episode because little backstory. Me and Randy have known each other. I mean, we've known each other basically our whole lives. I don't even know when we first met. I think it was like Mother's Morning Out or some shit at St. Paul's. It was like some early day shit.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, and we've always been neighbors growing up. Until we were about 18 years old or something, we were living right down the street from each other. Our parents used to make us ride our bikes halfway to meet each other to go. We were going to hang out so we didn't get abducted.
Yeah.
Man, it's been, the memories have been crazy, bro. We've just done so much shit together, and to bring you on the podcast is it's like combining my two favorite worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
I'm glad to show my audience, this connection and just tell some cool stories and, about what we've been through and shit, man. So, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot there. It's been a long, 22 years, 23 years.
Sure. For sure. And you also know Joey as well.
Yep.
All three of us met at Adventure Landing.
Oh, yeah.
So Randy, he'd worked at Adventure Landing for a while. You can speak on that a little bit. But I had gotten hired there for only I think I worked there for maybe 10 days or some shit.
Yeah, I was estimating around the 2-week range.
And I feel bad.
10 work days.
You stuck your leg out to give me a job up there. Randy's
that's so terrible.
Oh, my boy Nick can get, he'll work here, whatever. And I joined up 10 days, maybe 2 weeks tops, and I'm like out.
Yeah.
Why didn't you like it?
I don't think it was that I didn't like it. I just think I maybe couldn't get to work on time. I don't even know what the issue was, but they fired me pretty quick up there.
What were you doing up there? What? Let's tell them.
Not much. I barely would even show up to work.
What were you hired to do?
Oh, lifeguard.
Lifeguard.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was a lifeguard. I was a lifeguard. Yeah. And at the time, were you a lifeguard too?
I think at the time I was either
Get a little closer to that
supervisor.
camera. You can pull, or that microphone. You can pull a little
Okay,
closer.
I got you.
Yeah.
I think at the time I was an aquatech.
Okay.
Or I was either an aquatech or I was a supervisor. So regardless, I had been there for several years at the time. And I do remember I was like, we were looking for staff. I'm like, hey, my boy Nick, he wants a job. I'm like, come work here. It's awesome. And then come and something just didn't click. I don't know what it was, but I don't know if you just didn't like the job or what it was.
I don't know what the fuck happened.
It was a dope job too, honestly.
It was a chill job.
Yeah.
I got
maybe
really
a little
tan in
bit,
those 10 days for sure.
maybe a little bit more chill for Nick. And then a good 10 days went by, and then I think I heard something from one of our managers or the supervisors, and they're like, "Yeah, Nick, like no call, no showed again today." I'm like, "Has he not been coming in?" They're like, "No, it's like his third time." And I think I texted you, and I was like, "Hey, like you didn't show up for your shift. What's up?" And you're like, "Yeah, I just don't think I wanted to." I'm like, "Well, you can't do that." And
He's
keep
a lifeguard.
So that was the end of his.
That was like my second job, man. I remember like I had that problem like early days with jobs. Like I kind of learned from that. Once me and Joey actually left Eventual Ending and went to go work at Topgolf, and I was pretty solid up there, like as far as following the rules and shit. But when I was working like those restaurant jobs early days, bro, I don't know what it is. If I just wouldn't go. I should have just like called or something. I don't know why. Like looking back on it, I'm like so stupid for not like at least like trying to make an excuse and like fake it or some shit. I would just literally be like, all right, fuck it, time for bed.
Yep.
No work for me. Joey, what'd you do up there?
At Eventual Landing?
Yeah.
So I started as a lifeguard like you, but I showed up for work.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then I got certified.
That helps.
Then I got certified. So then, I mean, that's like another step pretty much. And then I skipped head guard. What is it, head guard or something like that?
Yeah, basically from a lifeguard, then you get certified, and then you move up to head guard, which is just essentially an ego boost for no reason. Because
Yeah,
they're
it's
just
stupid.
a lifeguard, but they come in like a couple minutes later, and they just start the rotation.
Right.
But it's the same exact
Yeah,
responsibility.
they do the same shit. But so I skipped that and went to Aquatech like Randy was. That was the most fun because you just check the water every hour and just maintain everything. It was super
I
chill.
remember when me and you first started, like when I first met you up there, we hated each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like an alpha thing.
It was
We
like
both-
this weird, yeah, like you knew that I was so much more handsome than you and just coming in there to your area. And it was like, it hit
You were
all
so
by
mad
surprise.
that I already had all the girls all over me.
His one girlfriend, he's dating a chick and it works there. Like, oh yeah, that's it. No, that shit was that was honestly that was a funny time, man. When we were all working up there, I mean, for those 10 days, fuck, that was a great time of my life. But then, or before we even get off this topic, I wanted to ask you guys: did you ever have was there ever a opportunity where you had to save somebody? Where like somebody was actually about to die and you had to save them. I never ran into that. I was just like
Because
passed out on a chair.
you weren't there.
True, but I mean, hey, I was 4 or 5 days. And
Randy, you go first. I want to hear about what was your first one?
My first one, I'm trying to think. I don't know if this is my first one, but I'm going to say it is because it's more interesting than the other ones.
Yeah.
I was on the wave pool, and there weren't that many saves in the wave pool. Most of them were at Storm just because it was deeper. The wave pool, I think, max depth is like
4 feet,
like 4
maybe.
feet, something
Yeah.
like that. So
No way.
yeah, I mean,
But
like,
those waves, I mean, 2-foot waves, and it's 6 feet at sometimes.
yeah. So you're really not drowning in there unless you're a kid anyway, and
Yeah.
usually they're with their parents. But so I'm at the wave pool, and basically this woman was in there with her son, probably like I want to say maybe he was like 4 or 5, and she basically just like had turned around to talk to whoever else they were with, and just left her son hanging, no life jacket or anything, and then basically he just kind of sunk below the waves. So did the procedure, blew my whistle, jumped in, and I went and got him, and I pulled him out of the water. And obviously, yeah, it's like 3 feet there, so it wasn't a very impressive save.
Right,
Pretty
yeah.
much jumped
You didn't
in.
really have to
I
do-
jumped in, I walked up, and I lifted him up, and then he threw up on my chest.
Oh
Right.
fuck yeah!
So then I was like, "Here's your your child
Here's
is
your
alive, and
kid.
then we got to get everyone out of the pool because it's no longer sanitary
The
to swim in
Messiah
this
has
water.
come down to save the baby. Thank God.
In 3 feet of water.
Yeah, I rode that high for approximately 7 seconds until.
Were you watching him the whole time, like until he drowned? Like, did you feel like it was going to happen?
Yeah, normally you'll pick out one or two in the wave pool. You can kind of see they're struggling, and it's it's only a matter of time. As soon as that mon turns around, you're basically going in there. So.
Is there a sense of like I remember for me, I was always scared to I never wanted to blow my whistle and jump in the water and save somebody. I was always like, even though there was no save in there that was like going to be a difficult save at all or anything, but. Right. I mean, sometimes you'd see like people fucking around and the kid would kind of be like under a float for a while and you're just like, he'll make it to the next lifeguard before in the lazy river.
Maybe it's a good thing you didn't show up for work.
I was starting to think it's a blessing that you only lasted.
One thing I will say though, man, is a pizza up there when it's like hot as fuck, man, in the middle of the day and you just need some. I remember that pizza was busting, bro.
Maybe they changed their pizza. Okay. I recall it being abysmal.
Their chicken was pretty good. I like the chicken.
The chicken tenders hold up to this day.
Really?
They are always good.
That's what I always got.
How long were you there for? Because me and Joey had left and then you were there for like a year or something.
So I was there, I think in total 7 years. Wow. So yeah, I only stopped working there about like 7 months ago.
Oh wow. Okay. Damn.
Yeah. So I was there for a long time. Pretty much started as a lifeguard, moved up to a head guard, then to an aquatech and a supervisor. And
you were always like going other places. Like you were in Tallahassee for a hot minute. You were always doing different things. So it was like kind of one of those like temporary jobs, like a summer job type thing.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. Because pretty much only there over summers and then over like winter break when they would open up their little Christmas wonderland. Go
Winter
work there for a little bit. Yeah, the Winterfest. Yeah.
I remember we'd volunteer to be. At the haunted house, whenever they do Halloween, I'd always volunteer with Josh to be
like a scare.
Yeah, like
you were one of those kids.
Oh yeah, boy! Literally, you didn't even get paid; you just volunteered.
I know
to
that's
scare
terrible.
people. I'll be honest, bro. The years I did it, I mean, I was probably like 16 when I did that. Shit was so fun.
Were you scaring people?
Oh, I was scaring the fuck out of people.
What were you doing? What'd you do in there?
I was like the dude that walked around with the mallet, like the big mallet, and I'm on like the very end. So right when they're about to exit, I'm supposed to be like in the lockers kind of, and then come out and give them a little like, fucking some stupid. I'd get the people while they're like waiting in line and shit. You know what I mean? I wasn't even in the attraction. Like I didn't even have a house or anything. I was just there. But that was always a good time, man, because the people that would go to those events up there are just like, these aren't like, haunted house professionals or nothing, like people that really know.
Bunch of rookies.
Oh, you could scare the fuck out of them just by saying boo. Like it wouldn't take nothing. So that was always a good time. Did you ever do that shit?
No, actually it was that's something I was like, I'm always like a huge, like I was a big Halloween kid growing up. Like I loved, like I would do that just at our house when we'd have trick-or-treaters. Mm-hmm. I'd hide in the bushes and I'd jump out and scare the shit out of some kids. And that was like,
you used to dress
made
up.
My years.
You would have all the like scarecrow style, like people, you dress them up with real clothes and shit and stuff them with like hay or something. And you would be dressed up similar to them with a mask on, like how all they do. And they wouldn't know which one was you. And you'd be sitting there like holding a bowl of candy. I remember that shit, bro. Yeah, we grew up in the best neighborhood for Halloween.
Really did.
I mean, like, I just remember being kids, me and you running around there. Like, we would have pillowcases stuffed to the brim of candy, bro.
Oh, for sure.
And then there was that one dude that would always, he'd kind of do the same thing you did. But he'd be in his front yard. He'd have like that devil outfit on. He'd be giving away like giant ass like Snickers bars and Reese's and shit, and like bags of Doritos and all kinds of crazy shit. It's like on Halloween, that dude went hard.
Yeah, I think, and I want to say he was the one that absolutely ruined my Halloween when I was about 6 years old. Maybe I was 4, but basically waddled up in my Mike Wazowski costume, and he'd post up in that chair, kind of like he was a dummy, like what I was doing, and then would reach up for the candy, and then he'd reach out at you, and basically I think that was like the third house we went to, and I turned around and cried, and I had to go home, so I couldn't trick or treat the rest of that Halloween.
And that's like 3 houses from your house.
It was about the third house, so I got up good 10 minutes into Halloween.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah, we had some houses in there. Like your house was definitely one of the top houses on Halloween that like went all out for it, But we had some people that would go hard. There was that house. If you were to exit your street and go to the left, like down that ways a little bit, he had like a million blow up things and all the lights and shit. He'd have them all over his roof and stuff. That house went super hard. We definitely had like a goat neighborhood for Halloween.
Yeah,
For
I didn't realize until recently how good we had it. Pretty much this last Halloween, realized people pretty much that don't have good neighborhoods, that they live in apartment complexes, like for Halloween, they'll basically they'll drive to our neighborhood. And I've heard they'll take shuttles out that'll drop them off in the neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah, I learned that just this past Halloween. So I guess we got it pretty good.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because I actually, when I was handing out candy, and I was actually back at our neighborhood handing out candy this year, and it just seemed like there were so many townies out there. Like, it just, cars were coming in and out of everywhere, and you'd see each house would have 3 or 4 guests in their driveway or something, and it's everybody's just coming into our neighborhood to trick or treat and stuff. I mean, it's a safe neighborhood. That was one thing that was always really cool. And but yeah, man, it's for shit. Growing up, all of our friends would always come to our neighborhood. It wasn't like we ever wanted to go somewhere else or do anything.
Right, yeah.
It was a good time. That was definitely a highlight for sure. What was it like for you, Joey?
My Halloween, our neighborhood kind of sucked, honestly.
Really?
I mean, specifically my road for Halloween and Christmas, it seemed like we were the only people to ever decorate anything. It was depressing. Almost.
I could see that.
But towards the front of the neighborhood and next to the river and stuff, they went all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd have to make a little drive to go.
Yeah.
Do stuff
I mean, we'd skateboard over there, and then one year we had morph suits and we would hide. It was so fun. We'd hide and then scare the shit out of people.
Did we
the black morph suits?
Was that me and you, Randy, that had the green morph suits?
I don't think so. I had a black one year as well,
and you can hide so good.
Just lay down in the grass and you're just a shadow. They do not see you.
It's so fun.
Y'all are on some other shit.
No, you
bro.
can scare the shit out of people and then you can have a mask on because people won't see you if you're laying down, and then you have a mask on and you just run out.
Oh my God, that's so funny. See, I was always when I was a kid, man, I just wanted to get the damn candy. I still, to this day, I'm not even gonna lie, man. I don't care if I'm the only one that is on this take, man, because I still get so fucking jealous when Halloween comes around and I can't go out there and just get a sack full of candy. Because it was so nice, bro. Those 2 months after Halloween. Shit.
Do you have any nieces or nephews? No,
I've got 3 little sisters, but 2 of them little they would still trick or treat probably, I think. And
just go with them.
It's not like that. They're 16, they'd probably want to go out with their friends and do shit. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. But and even when they get a little bit of candy, I still feel bad taking their candy. It just feels nice to have that sack full of candy.
You know what's crazy is we're adults and we can go to the store and buy our own candy.
Yeah, but then you got to pay for it. The fuck? And then see on Halloween, bro, think about how much money you would get in candy. In worth of candy. I'm telling you what, in our neighborhood, we at least had $100, $200 worth of candy for sure.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, we're going, dude. I'm telling you, bro. We'd be up till 1, 2 in the morning out there trick or treating, going all out. I mean, me and Randy, we're the type of kids, bro. If you left a bowl on your,
you gonna empty it?
I ain't gonna empty it, but I'm gonna definitely make you regret. I'm you shouldn't have done that. You fucked up. So that's a you problem. I'm definitely gonna do something about it. That's for sure.
Definitely walked up to some please only take 1 bowls, and think maybe I took 2 and probably felt a little guilty.
Oh my God.
I wasn't
2.
Yeah,
come on.
I was not that kid that was gonna take any candy. I was a little church boy. I would have been way too scared.
Well, I was a little asshole and I took a whole handful.
Well, you only had 3 fucking houses in your neighborhood.
Right. I got to fill my bag somehow.
It's they put the candy out at 7:30. They go check it, and 10 minutes later, it's gone. There's no trick-or-treaters out there.
I'm running down the road with my pillowcase.
Shit's hilarious, man. Let's go ahead and maneuver into the beef of this conversation, man. Something that I've been wanting to talk about for a hot minute. Randy, I mean, since the day that we were children when we first started drawing. We used to have drawing contests all the time. We used to do just the random kind of art stuff like that, whatever. And you were always a mile ahead. I'm not going to toot your horn too much, but you were a mile ahead of everybody that we'd have Josh, and Josh still to this day can't draw a fucking stick figure smiley face. Love you, JD, but goddamn. And, but it was always you just always had this gift where you just knew how to put what you're thinking in your head to paper so well. And it's really translated with what you're doing now with the graphic design thing. Tell me a little bit about that, man. How were you that good when we were kids, man? You obviously practiced a lot and did all these different things, but do you feel like you're special in that way?
Definitely not. I feel I'm always going to look at something I did maybe like a year ago or 2 years ago, or even back when, you know, we were like 10 years old drawing, I'm always going to look back and like hate it. Like
Really?
I'm definitely, yeah. And it's especially something when like we're that young, like obviously like you're not like a kid's not thinking about like, oh, I need to study this. I need to get better at this. Like I'm just like drawing. It's like, it was just something. I'm trying to think of how I really got into it when I was that young.
Because back in the day, you were drawing a lot of like we would do a lot of like sci-fi, like spacey shit. You do a lot of the alien stuff. Like you would do like I don't remember you to be like much of a like realism guy where you're drawing like wolves and shit like that. You know what I mean? You were I feel like you definitely leaned a little bit more towards the cartoon side. Not even cartoon, because that's like undermining what the fuck you're doing. It was like advanced fucking anime type shit, even to a level, you know? Like some of the things that you would draw as a kid, bro, like I'm not even trying to like fucking toot your horn, but I gotta give you your flowers. But like, bro, some of the shit you would draw would like fucking mind blow me as a kid, you know? And I mean, there was one time I remember so vividly that I remember we would always try to draw the same thing and just see who's better, and it'd be like me, you, my little sister, like fucking JD was there or something. I
remember some arguments starting over that.
Oh, for sure. And it'd be like over the topic of what we're gonna draw. We'd go like back and forth and shit.
Yeah.
Like that definitely happened. And one time it was the script was a alien like in a spaceship or something like that or whatever. And I remember drawing mine. I was so fucking confident. I was like, I finally took my dub. This is it. You know what I'm saying? Don't even got to show them like this is fucking the one. And it was huge. It took up the whole page. I remember both of our drawings so vividly for some reason. And we go to flip it over and I show y'all mine. You know, you're all fucking impressed and you're clapping and you're all like, wow, the best thing you've ever seen in my life, whatever. I'm sure that's how it went down, something like that. But and then we see you flip over your page, and I remember it was this tiny little fucking like UFO alien spaceship thing. But it was so realistic. It looked like it was like off the page, and you had like a shadow behind it and all this stuff. And it was only like the size of like 3-4 inches big, man. And it was the fucking coolest thing ever. And I remember I asked you if I could keep it, and you still, I'm pretty sure I still have it in this like this little drawing journal thing in my mom's house. But I remember that shit so vividly, and we had to have been like 10 years old or something, bro. So yeah, you've always been like gifted in this shit, man.
Yeah. So kind of the thing about that is I think certain people, especially like when they're kids, like it's just really, some people do. Okay. Let me go. I'm going to go on a rant about this.
No, you're
if
good.
I go
on
for like an hour, just like stop.
Do your thing,
I
bro.
could talk about this for hours, but as far as like kids being like gifted or like talent, like I think some kids do kind of start at like a different level than like other kids just for whatever reason. But I think a lot of it is just, it's something I loved to do. So I would do it all the time. And definitely when I started off, I'm glad you think so fondly of it. I'm glad it had that impression on you. But definitely when I was first starting off, whether if it was around there before then, whether I'm just like copying the cartoons on TV or like drawing like any like video games I was playing as a kid or something, like I definitely started off pretty rough. Like you can go through and I remember thinking I was really good, and I would remember when we would have those little competitions. I don't remember exactly what we were drawing at the time, but I would like look at yours. I'm like, fuck, I actually like his more than mine. But I would like,
what?
Yeah, and I remember getting into arguments because I'm like, I would try and find some way to like, no, I'm the artist. I have to be better. And I'm like, oh, well, you erased, so you cheated, so I'm better than you. I remember very vividly saying that to you. He was like, real artists don't use the eraser.
Oh yeah,
I had to like,
fuck,
I had to pull that out of nowhere because I'm like, fuck, I can't let him be better than me. Like this is wrong.
Oh my god, I cannot. That just like gave me the craziest deja vu ever. Real artists don't use the eraser. You had me not using my fucking pencil eraser for like 5 years, bruh. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I just gaslit you into thinking that you couldn't draw for shit.
You could have been a great
so
artist.
fucked up.
But yeah, I mean,
This is so fucked up. I totally remember that. And I remember it was a real artist don't use the eraser. Fuck, that's hilarious.
yeah,
God, that totally happened.
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just like I had that passion for it really early on. My mom was always a pretty creative person. My dad always would draw like doodles like on our lunchbox, like our sandwich wrappers and all that shit. So I just got introduced to it really young, and I just loved that ability to just be able to like create something. That's why I pretty much just did it all the time. Just being able to like take a blank piece of paper and just create something out of thin air.
Yeah.
Like that. I was just really drawn to that as a kid. So I just did it all the time. And then just basically over like repetition of years of doing that over time, then it got to a point where I could draw like a little bit, still like not great, obviously that age, but then the people like around me that aren't drawing, then they look at that and they're like, whoa, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it really is just
for you. It's like you're doing it so often, so I feel like it eventually like you see the same, like you see your art and it's like slowly evolving. So in your head, you think you're just like the same thing. It's like I'm not getting better or whatever. But some people see it and they're like, "Whoa, bro! Like you've clearly been drawing for a long period of time."
Right. Yeah. It's definitely something where I'll go back and I'll look at something old I did, and it's a pretty good sign for me. Like I look back, I see something I drew like even just like 6 months ago or a year ago, and if like I hate it, I can kind of see like problems with it. Then that's something I've either already improved on or I can improve on, and that's yeah.
I like it. No,
but yeah, and then kind of talking about like the talent thing, like I'll circle back to that. Like a lot of people they kind of see like people that can draw like as a kid, or they're decent, they can draw like a half decent Spongebob or whatever, and they look at that like, oh, like I wish I could draw, like I wish I was just good at it. But it is something that pretty much anyone that's good at anything, like obviously some kids can like start at different levels and just be naturally good at it to an extent, but after that it's pretty much you still got to put in the work, you still got to churn out drawings and just improve over time. And then because a lot of people do see that and they get discouraged, like, oh, like I wish I could do that. Well, you can. It's just anything you want to learn. It's just, yeah, there might be that little bit of a deviation if you're starting off a little worse or a little better at it than someone else. But I mean, if you put in the work, like you'll pretty much get to any level you want to get at.
For sure, yeah. And did you ever get into the painting phase? I know some people like will make that transition to being like an artist where they were all painting and shit. And
yeah, that was never a medium that I liked a ton. Like I did take, I remember in our art class at St. Paul's, did do a little bit of painting in there. And then I think I did I went through like one quick little Bob Ross phase where I got the DVD and I had my canvas. I think I painted like one canvas. I think it just did not stick. I just did not like it. It was like messy. It's just a lot. Like I just wanted to be able to draw. So,
yeah,
it was something I toyed with a little bit. I've toyed with different mediums, but pretty much just I'd always go back to pencil and paper. And then until like, I want to say like 6 years ago, that's when I started picking up digital.
Yeah, I want to learn about that transition a little bit too. Unless you had any questions on that last topic or anything.
Did you ever use drawing as like a release? Like some people like go to the gym to relieve stress or stuff like that. But do you find drawing is like soothing to you?
It can be pretty relaxing. I don't have a super good answer on that. It's not like, yeah, like I use it to, unload all the thoughts
right,
up in my mind. I don't have.
But does it ever feel like tedious or like?
Sometimes, but pretty much it's when I'm trying to force myself to improve on a certain topic. It might not be. It's not fun to like suck at something. So if I see like,
you definitely don't suck. So
okay, well, that's a debate for another day.
Nah,
but yeah. So if I look at something and I'm like, fuck, I cannot draw hands, and like you got to sit there and fill a page with like 50 different hands and look at the pictures of that, and like sometimes that can be tedious or frustrating at first, like not being good at something. But then once you see that improvement, then it's like same thing. Which maybe you can talk a bit more about it because I feel like you're always more into the gym. Like when I started going to the gym and like trying to like get in shape and like work on my bodies, those first few visits that actually we went to together, Nick, those were like pretty rough at first. I mean, it was fun because like you're going with your friend, you're doing something new. But it's like those first few visits where there's not a direct translation. You're not seeing those results instantly. So that is kind of like a similar thing. It felt tedious, I guess, at first. But then as soon as I saw like the slightest improvement, so with art, as soon as I saw I was a little better than I was, last month, then it was like that motivation kicks in. It's like, then it's fun. Now I know I'm improving. And kind of same thing, like like with the gym, like as soon as I saw like that first little like vein on my bicep, I'm like, now I'm like,
the
I'm gonna
horizons
go.
and the sights, baby.
It's 2 a.m. I'm gonna go to Bailey's for 2 hours and hit biceps.
I'll be on a
entire
stage in 3 months.
Oh man, are you still sticking with it, man? Because I totally forgot about that phase. Me and you were going to the gym every night together for like a year, and it was like midnight when we were going.
Oh yeah, that 24-hour gym. But,
Yeah.
No, I was pretty consistent for like a couple years. I was going like 6 days a week. I was like meal prepping and everything. Right now, it's mainly just a time thing. I want to go, but pretty much it's like if I'm gonna spend like an hour and a half right now, like I'm kind of putting like all my eggs into one basket with art. So I'm like, I would love to go to the gym, and sometimes I do have time, and I try to go. Like last week, I think I went like 5 days last week, and this week
Okay.
That's a lot better than me.
And then-
Yeah, okay,
and then
so you're back. Yeah,
well,
like
well, then this week I went 0, so it balances out a little bit. But
hey, that's more than me and Joey, man. I know Joey hasn't been in a hot minute. I haven't been in like a whole ass year.
Yeah.
We
could tell.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, shit, you should have seen how big your ass was before you fucking. I mean, yeah, you still got a little bit.
I
left
actually weigh
over.
the same,
No way,
if not a little more.
no way.
I swear. I just got a little belly now.
Yeah, okay. I was about to
thick.
say your arms lost something. I'm about to say. I mean, there's something there, but they ain't crazy.
You lucky you got a sweater on.
What you can see it through the sweater. Shit. No, me and Randy had a crazy phase though, bro, where we were going like consistently every single night. And at that time, we were like around the same. We were pushing around the same weight, so it was like super competitive going in there, and like we'd just both be trying to max out every fucking time we go, and that was a good phase. We were definitely pushing each other hard, and that was probably like the quickest, like the most growth I had ever had in my life was when we were going on that consistent time. That was definitely a good. I mean, shit, it was a great stress reliever, like what you guys were talking about. It's like, god damn, bro, nothing like the gym when it comes to that shit.
Makes me want to get back in the gym.
100%,
I
man.
go after this.
just go hit arms after this.
Yeah, shit. We're ready.
I still pay for it, so
Yeah, I do too.
yeah.
Both of y'all still play for Bailey's? Shit, bro.
Haven't been in a while.
Well, let me use that guest pass. So
You got it.
Actually, I can't go there because I do.
They canceled your membership.
No, I'm in debt with them still. Like I still. They were running my shit whenever
They will not let you through that gate.
I didn't have any money, man. They were still running it. I'm like, I don't know what y'all want me to do.
Use somebody else's ID.
I do have my fake still, I think.
Yeah, use
Let's
them.
say I'm like
To go to
28
the
now or
gym.
some shit.
Yeah.
But whatever, yeah, fuck it. Let's make this transition, man. So graphic design, you made the transition to digital art eventually. Was that a challenge or anything?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely came with its own set of challenges. It was a pretty harsh transition, just because that it is a very different feeling. Even if you are holding a stylus and drawing on a screen, like it's still like it should feel similar to a pencil on paper. But like even now, it's like I feel like you really can't beat how nice it is just to draw just pencil and paper. Like there's just the response to it. It's just like you just really can't beat it.
Is there a lag when it's on with the stylus? Because I feel like I've only done it a couple times, but I felt like that's what I noticed was like I'd go to draw, but there was like a slight lag, so I didn't know exactly where my pen was going to.
There can be, depending on your setup. If you have like a cheaper one, sometimes those can lag a little bit more. It can obviously when you're drawing on the screen, like the screen's like about that thick, so like the line you're actually drawing isn't at the the tip of the stylus, so it can feel a little off at times. And I think when I first got a drawing tablet, it didn't have a screen, it didn't have anything, so it was basically it was the size of a piece of paper, and it basically just translated to the screen on the computer. So I would draw down here, and I'm looking up at the computer. So that was pretty off-putting at first. But
That's crazy.
I mean, I think overall, like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks of just doing that consistently.
Wow,
then
that's
it, like,
quick, man.
Then it, it doesn't take long. Pretty much once your brain just kind of gets around that and figures it out.
Do you have an issue like whenever you lift up your pencil, since you're not seeing like where your hand is moving when the pencil isn't touching the screen? Do you look down whenever you're about to replace your pencil? Do you see what I'm saying? Because like if obviously when you're looking at the screen, you can see the line you're drawing and where your hand is. But then when you go to like move your pencil to another spot on the screen, like do you have to look down and be like, okay, I'm going to move it this far? Or are you just like in your head like, oh, I know that this is the distance? Yeah,
so how that works is there's probably about, you can hold the stylus probably about a ½ inch above your drawing tablet, and it'll still read where the mouse is on the computer.
Oh,
so like if you just lift it up so you're not drawing, and you can still move your hand across and you can see where the mouse goes on the screen.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
is that how you edited all the OG designs you did?
So I want to say yes. I got a new, upgraded my setup a little bit about like 2 years ago. I got a nicer drawing tablet. It's got actually a full screen.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's been a lot. That's been a lot easier. But kind of, so originally I'll talk about like how I got into graphic design originally before I was doing really digital art or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because I was always still like doodling here and there. I'd fill up a sketchbook like occasionally, but it wasn't something I was doing every day. Like once I got a little older.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of how exactly it started. But for Fit McCool's, for my aunt's restaurant, basically they just needed like, I think it was calendars. I think at first they just wanted to make some calendars, and they were just making them and like Microsoft Word and just putting them on there.
I remember this. I remember you told me about this.
Yeah, and then my mom was doing a lot of their marketing. It's like, hey, like you're like artistic and you do a lot on the computer. Like, can you like make like a calendar? I was like, sure. So I think I pirated Adobe Photoshop. Still pirate it to this day. Come at me, Adobe.
No way. No way.
I've never given them a dime.
That's hilarious.
I
oh my
refuse.
god.
That's impressive.
That's good.
It's shockingly easy to pirate Adobe programs as like a 13-year-old with a computer.
Yeah, and I remember you did that with After Effects too. You had
Yep.
fucking Adobe After Effects. So I was like, what the fuck? And at the time it was like $300 to buy or some shit. It was crazy.
I think I want to say it was $700.
Oh, see, exactly, bro. And the fact that you were pirating it is like, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, so but I digress.
Anyways.
So enough about my internet crimes. But yeah, so I pretty much I started off like obviously no drawing tablet, no stylus or anything, and I'm just using the mouse to put stuff on there. And then over time, eventually I was just on the computer a lot, doing a lot of graphic design. I kind of got back into art a little bit, so I was filling up some more sketchbooks, and then I'm trying to think of how exactly I got into it, but I was around, I want to say 14, 15, probably pushing the limit of a little too old to be watching watching these, but there's these like stick figure animations on YouTube where it's just like stick figures like beating the shit out of each other, and I thought it was the coolest thing on the planet, and I was like, I want to do that. So I pretty much like I found out what like program they use. I think I used it was Adobe Flash, so I pirated that too, and then I pulled that up, and I would sit there for hours, and I'm just using the mouse too, which is, if you've ever tried to draw on a computer with a mouse, you know it's not going well.
It's hell.
So I'm sitting there for like hours trying to like redrawing the same line, just drawing these little like stick figures, and yeah, I would just make these little like animations, and I got into that way, and then I kind of from there just got into drawing a lot more, and then I wanted to start doing like actual illustrations on the computer digitally, like full color, because that was something I never really messed with when I'm drawing on paper, was color. I never got good at it. I didn't want to use like marker. I couldn't get into really any of those. So that's something I wanted to experiment with digitally. So eventually got that drawing tablet, got through that adjustment period, and then from there it's been pretty consistent for the last like 6 years.
Yeah, dude, you're on like right now. I mean, because you just did a post not that long ago on. Let's go ahead and plug your shit before we even get into it. Like, it's Groovy Smooth, right?
Yeah, at Groovy Smooth on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch.
That's the fucking coolest @ name, bro. The fact that you got that is so fucking dope. Like, it was Groovy Smooth art for a while, but then you got officially Groovy Smooth.
Yeah, I had to fight for that a little bit. Get into that in a minute, but yeah. So I don't know why I came up with that. I think I was just going through just a phase in high school. I was like, I want a Volkswagen bus. Like I'm just like that guy that's gonna say the word groovy unironically. Like that's gonna be my thing now.
Yeah.
And, it didn't really pan out, but when I was I got a new Xbox and I was making a new gamer tag, and then I was like panicking. I was like, what's my fucking gamer tag gonna be?
Oh, that's
funny. I was just like, I'll just make it Groovy Smooth. That sounds funny. And then that's literally it. It's not a very
the rest is history.
But yeah, and then then on Instagram, when I started posting, it was originally just our Trousdell art.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, before I put like a name or like a brand on it or anything, so I was just like posting whatever I was sketching to like the 7 people that followed me originally. So and then just over time, once I started getting more into it, I was looking at a lot of like other artists. I was just absorbing a lot of that art that's out there, and I saw just a lot of people. It wasn't it wasn't just their name. They kind of had like, they had a brand or they had a username, something that kind of was catchy and like stuck. And I just kind of wanted to go down that road and just have something I can attach it to other than just like my name. And I was just like, I'll just use my Xbox gamer tag for now. And that's just what it is.
It's honestly, I think it fits it so good, bro. Just like with the way that you're like, you draw a lot of like, your art matches that name in my opinion. Like, especially the art you do now. I mean, it's very like bright, a ton of bright colors, ton of like things popping out and shit. We're getting fucking phone calls and shit. Let's see if they want to be on the pod, if it's someone worth it. Hell no, I can't do it to my mother, man. I'm sorry. I'd love to do it to my mom, but I can't do it to her, man. She'd hate me. But back to what we were saying with that, like I feel like that name matches the vibe super well. What would you? This is like a super. I've been meaning to ask you this question actually for a hot minute. Like, what would you describe your art as? Like, obviously you're a graphic designer, but like, what kind of art would you say you're making? Like, what would you just? It's like I wouldn't even say anime because anime sometimes can have like a simplistic aspect to it depending on what you're watching. But it's like that style kind of, like a lot of like characters with like real exaggerated like body parts or like whatever, like outfits or whatever's on. What would you describe your artwork as?
So kind of hard. Honestly, it's changed so much over like since I've gotten into it. It's just like I don't have a lot of like my older stuff on Instagram. Like I try not to archive too much now just because I like having all that out there so people can see like 4 years ago, like this is what I was drawing and like it wasn't great, but it's like I like having some of that out there, but like a lot of like the older stuff, I'm like, I'm taking that down. But and it's just changed so much just based off of what I'm kind of what I'm like influenced by at the time. I used to not go near anime whatsoever. I had like some friends that were into it. I'm just like, that's for nerds. I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
Like, keep that away from me. And then, around that time, I was just drawing I was doing like cartoons and just like, it was very like Western style, just like kind of mirroring kind of just like American cartoons and that kind of style. So that's just what I was drawing at the time. And then once I did like give anime a try, I'm like, okay, some of this kind of slaps. Then I was influenced by that for a while. So like there is like a stretch where it was pretty like anime influenced. And that's good for Instagram as well, just because that stuff does really well on there. And then just over time, I'm kind of leaning back more towards just like a Western style and kind of a blend. Right now, it's just over time I tried to kind of stylize my art in a way that was like unique and like I didn't want it to just be like anime art or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So honestly, it's just like an amalgamation of like every little thing that I've been inspired by over like the course of my life at this point.
Do you feel like the people that come to you for commissions and stuff, do you feel like a lot of these commission deals that they're like throwing at you are like anime based things? Like, or do you think they like, for me, I feel like I came at you with a lot of like the stuff. For the people that don't know, you did like almost every OG design that we dropped. Like the OG hands, like the skull hands, but funny story. I know I just keep fucking going down this hole and digging, but dude, this is the funniest shit ever. Okay. So when me and Randy were creating this design for the OG hands, and if you've seen this shirt, I should have fucking worn it, but it's
a nice shirt.
It's the hands like this, and it's literally it's holding.
I just remembered.
Yeah. So it's literally it's like Bones hands, and it's like this to make it look like it says like OG or whatever, And so at first, the original idea for it was we were going to do sign language. It was just going to be OG in sign language. And anyone that knows sign language, it's this is O and then this is G. And so literally, you sent it back to me, and it was so funny how you edited the whole thing. And then I didn't even notice until I showed it to somebody, and they're like, "Oh, is that supposed to be the fucking like the whatever this is, like fucking or whatever, whatever you call it, the sex fucking emojis or whatever." And it's like it sent me, bro, because I was so close. I almost threw it on a shirt, just thinking like, oh, it's such a cool design, not even thinking it's like literally this is the fucking logo that's gonna be on top.
Yeah, I think
it was the funniest shit ever.
Hilarious. I think I could be misremembering. I thought like I had actually said something when I sent it over to you.
It could have been you.
So I think I sent it over, and I'm like, And just in case you wanted, like, this is what it would look like if you just did like a G. It just kind of looks like someone's doing this. I don't know if you want to keep that. I'm like, it's your shirt, but I'm just giving you a heads up. That's what I saw.
Dude, I totally went over my head. It was so fucking funny. And I didn't even look up like what the letters or what they look like in sign language. I was like, I just sent it over to you. That's how basically everything would go back in the day. I'd just shoot you a little like paragraph text and be like, this is what I want. And you send it back in like 30, fucking 40 hours, whatever it is. It'd be like the next day. And I'd get it in and it'd be like, perfect. I usually wouldn't even want to change that much on it, and it's like with that one, it was just so fucking funny how we just had to start from scratch. Well, not with the O, but the G at least. And it was like,
right.
Oh, that was a funny one, man. And those shirts to this day still slap. So many people are always hitting me up for those shirts. I'm like, we only got a few left. You know what I'm saying? Which one out of all the OG designs that you did was like one of the funnest ones for you?
I actually did really like that one. I was pretty happy with how that came out. I'm trying to go back. I'd probably say I want to say the favorite one I did, was I'm trying to think of how exactly it was. It was the orange juice box.
Mm-hmm, that's the one I had in my head.
God. I like that one. That one was just a lot of fun to work on. It was just, and that's when, some of them, like you said, you did like, this is kind of what I want, just kind of do your thing. And then other times you did have a pretty clear vision for a lot of them, which it's definitely makes it easier on my part.
Does it?
Yeah. Cause you're like, I can rant about that in a second. But just to finish up, it was just that, you'd have a pretty clear direction for that one. It's like, I want like a box of like orange juice that looked like this, like say this on it. I think it was like, what did it say? It was freshly squeezed.
Yeah. Freshly squeezed. And then it'd say OGOJ.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That was the fucking dopest. Like that. It's crazy because all these designs, I have an idea in my head of what I want it to look like, but then you send it back and I'm like, yo, like it is just so next level. I know for a fact, people to this day, people that don't even know the brand, don't know the pod, don't know anything, know about those stickers. Like those stickers are just like so influential with like the whole like off grid, the brand, like everything, bro. Like those made a huge splash, and we never even put those on I was supposed to put them on a hoodie or something, and it didn't make the final cut on a backpack or something.
I think a backpack would have been,
and it never made the cut, and it just ended up being a sticker. And like I love it, bro. Like
you could still do it.
I still could, for exclusive, sure, man, for sure. And the Masters one was also a legendary.
Oh yeah, one. That one.
There's a lot of hype behind that one.
That one was like. That was one of the ones Scott Amato came up with. That one, Scotty Boy. Mm-hmm. He came up with that design, and that was one of the most excited like designs that was like one of the designs that I was most excited for, was like just showing that one to the world. That one was sick, bro. It was a really good play putting the hole on Jacksonville with the flag coming out. I was like, oh my god, bro! If y'all haven't seen that logo, that thing is sick.
Yeah, that one was a really good one. I kind of knew when I sent that over. I'm like, this one's gonna fucking hit this. I'm like, this one was a good idea. So you said who came up with that? That was not you. It was one of your
Scotty
friends?
Boy. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Scott Amato. He was we were out there paddling out surfing, and
no, we were in the garage. We were still in the garage. We were in the garage talking about it. Yeah.
Yep. And he is just like, what if you took the Masters logo, but made it Florida and put the hole on Jax and us?
And then we were all quiet. And we were like thinking about it, and I was like, "Damn, that's kind of cool."
Yeah, I was like, that might slap, bro. Speaking of surfing, when are you getting back in the water?
So surfing. This is something I've been talking about for the past like probably 2 years. Ever since I like stopped surfing, like every summer I'm like, this is the one where I get back in the water. This is the one where I go surfing again, and it just doesn't pan out. It is something actually. Joey and I were just talking about that. I do want to go out and do it. It's a time thing, trying to basically work 2 jobs, like my day job to pay the bills. After that, like commission work, trying to fit in the gym somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So it's just stretched for time now to kind of find a way to go out there. And then there's, of course, the added pressure of I haven't surfed in 2 years and all I have is a shortboard. So basically got to wait for the waves to be good, and then I got to be prepared to go out there and not catch shit the entire day until I can shake the rust off. So thinking foam board soon, just something to take the pressure off. Just go out there, go out there and fuck around. Yeah. It is fun, honestly, and just like I know once I'm out there, it's gonna be like therapeutic. Just going out and like sitting on the water, dawn patrol. It's like there's nothing like it. So
I will never forget. There was one day we paddled out there, and you were a little hungover. and we're paddling out. We get out. It was a big day too, man. That was like one of the biggest days, and we're sitting there, and this huge ass wave is coming up out of the like you. It's one of those waves where you know it's gonna just wipe you out, and you're kind of just like, fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I go to start paddling for it, and you're up a little bit farther than me, but you never like lay down on your board to start paddling. You're just like sitting up on your board, like staring at this wave. And so I'm like paddling, and I finally get up like next to you, and I like look over at you. And you're just sit there, like on the fucking, you're like on your board, just like straddling it. And then the wave, it like slowly starts to like come right above you. And I mean, you were feeling like shit this day. As soon as it was like about to hit you, just look over at me and just like grab your fingers and shove them down your throat, trying to make yourself throw up. And the fucking wave just destroys you. And I was just like, I remember just, first off, I started choking on water so bad because I was like, I cannot believe that just fucking happened. And I come up from the other side, I was just dying laughing, bro. And I'm like, I didn't even know if you were gonna come up after that. I was like, oh my god, because we were the type of guys, like, if we committed to going surfing the next morning at 6 a.m., we're going surfing the next morning at 6 a.m. You know what I mean? Like
he's not like that anymore.
Hey, some people grow out of that phase, man. Shit, I'm an adult now. I got.
You've missed so many beautiful days because you're sleeping.
See, here's the thing: is you want to make these claims that I miss all these waves. I'm like usually 30 minutes late tops, and then
if you show up.
If that's been like 3 times. I hate when you pull that shit. I'm like,
it's always on the best days, so you miss out on like the bet. Like
I feel bad because you aren't getting no fucking waves. Like whenever I'm out there, you don't get no fucking waves. I'm getting every single wave
because he's riding a longboard in the back. He's sent 30 yards deep, taking
trying to give you some waves. I'm trying to be nice, shit. Like take it as a compliment. You know what I'm saying? It's honestly though, like those morning sessions were so fun. Like I remember there was a summer we just paddle out like. Even when we didn't even check the report, we're just like, fuck it, we're going, you know? Yeah. It'd be freezing cold. We got to ride our bikes from our neighborhood all the way to the beach, which was like not that long, but man, those are the fucking days. Penny board up to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Put the penny board under the boardwalk. God damn.
Just living it up. No responsibilities, nothing. Just nothing. Like, took it for granted. But
it's super tan, had our feet like callous as a motherfucker because we just be barefoot all the time, penny boarding around. Like those are the times for sure. But you're gonna be getting back soon.
Yeah, hopefully
this summer we're gonna make it happen for sure. We got to get back out there, man. I know me and Joey will definitely be out there, and all we need is waves. We just need the ocean to produce, and we'll be out there ready to get it.
Yep.
Another thing that we just had was St. Patty's Day just passed, and for some reason, I'd love to hear the story behind this, but you always, St. Patty's Day is like your Christmas or like your New Year's. Like for some reason, you always go so like extra hard on St. Patty's Day.
Right.
What's so special about St. Patty's Day? How did this start for you?
So definitely growing up, like we have an Irish background. Pretty much, I want to say my great grandparents or one more great above that like came over from Ireland. So like that's where like family background is.
Got you.
Yeah, and then obviously my aunt growing up, she founded Fimacool's Irish pub, so I was surrounded by that all the time, Irish music, everything. I always knew we were Irish, and I don't know why, but at some point when I was young, that was just something I clung to. I'm like, I'm Irish. That's fucking sick. I'm like, this is gonna be my thing. So yeah, then every year at school, basically growing up in like elementary school, we'd have tag days, if you remember that, where we can dress out a uniform.
Oh yeah,
and, wear like a green shirt, and then over time I just got more and more crazy with it because we have all these beads and green shirts. I would make my mom get me stuff, and had this green afro I would wear to school. And I don't know, at some point it was just always I loved like dressing up as a kid, like, and then I was just always surrounded by it as well, just based off my family.
Your favorite color was green too, right?
Yep, yeah. I think that's probably why I clung to it. I'm like, this is fucking sick. Yeah. This is my jam. And then growing up, when I got to like 16, 17, I started working at Fimacool's. I was a host there for a little bit right before I started at Adventure Landing. And then for St. Patrick's Day, pretty much got offered to come and work. I say offered like it was a treat, but it was hell. So basically they're like, hey, like, can you work on St. Patrick's Day? It'd be like, you just get there at 6 or 7 in the morning and be there for like 15 hours, and you might make like $170.
If you're lucky.
I'm going to be rich. So definitely spent a few years working there. on St. Patrick's Day, just surrounded by it. And then once I got to the point where I'm like 19, 20, and I'm doing that every year, and I'm basically going around watching everyone else like have fun and drink, I kind of saw like how crazy like an Irish pub looks on St. Patrick's Day and how much fun it looks. It's just a huge party. And I'm like, next year I'm 21. I'm never doing this again. And then, yeah, instantly just,
the rest is history.
Rest is history.
Like you guys go so hard for St. Patrick's Day, bro. You guys always party like super hard. And I love it, man. I think the vibe is cool. I mean, this year St. Patrick's Day was on a Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Some years, man, you'd be doing the party bus and shit. It's like you'll have like the party bus driving you from Irish pub to Irish pub and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, what? And you still wear the green afro, don't you?
Actually, I gave that to my roommate. I let him wear that. I had to pass the torch. I got enough. Yeah, I got enough mileage on that for a lifetime. So
what is St. Patrick's Day? What is St. Patrick's Day for? Like, who the fuck is St. Patrick?
He was like a Irish saint or something.
Yeah. Well, shout out to him. He probably loved drinking or some shit because he passed that torch down.
I'm sure he was like a very calm, tame saint. I don't know. I should know maybe, but I don't. So I know what it's about now.
Yeah, it's about partying, baby. That's for damn sure. One thing I want, not to like rewind or anything, but I did want to touch on. You made a fucking card game, like not just you by yourself, but you did all the design work for a card game, like playing cards. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that journey, because I mean, I obviously you got the physical pack, didn't you? Eventually, yeah. Okay, so. I remember when you posted that online, that shit was crazy, bro. Like, cause I mean, you were working on the OG designs while you were working on that card game. So you'd kind of send me some samples of like what you're doing with the card game and like the different like branding things you had going on with that. And it was always like so complex. Tell me a little bit about that, man. Like about your journey with that, because that was super dope. Yeah.
So that was definitely one of the bigger commissions at that time. I never got offered to work on something like of that size. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a little box. Box is probably about that big. It's got like 5 playing cards repeated and then like a couple rules booklets. Like obviously opening it up and looking at it, it doesn't look like that much, but it was a lot of work going through and designing every card. And then obviously when you're designing something, to be printed on a box and how the box like is made in the factory and where the bleeds are and where you need to cut off the design and where it needs to overflow. And it's just, there was a lot of that process. I don't think I knew exactly what I was getting into with that, but no, it was cool. Like it was definitely a learning experience. I was still very much kind of figuring out my style at the time. And he basically contacted me on social media. He just liked my art and said, he's like, hey, this is a project I'm working on. And honestly, he's put in, loads of more work into it than I have. This is just a passion project that he's had for a while. And no, I'm glad he picked me for it. It was a lot of fun. He was a really cool guy. He's based out of Slovenia.
You crushed that, bro. I mean, that like the designs on that, because it was a water, fire, earth, and wind like type game, right? Like it had like something to do with the 4 elements or some shit.
Yeah, so it's called the Natural Order. Go check it out. I don't know if it's out right now. I know he's trying to work on getting pick a publishing company to produce it. He got some prototypes made, and that's what I got in the mail. He sent over one to me.
What did that feel like, bro, when you first got that in your hands?
It's crazy getting it on your hands, and he was kind enough to put my name on the box as well. Basically,
nice. Wow.
Yeah, like it's a game by Bor Penteric, and then it's right over there. It's like art by Randy Trousdell. I'm like, that's crazy.
That's pretty badass, bro.
It's wild. It was a feeling, because like definitely like always like I'm always like my biggest critic, and like I don't think that's different than like most artists or anyone that has passions or any like creative like ventures that they're
I'm the exact same
about.
way. Yeah,
so you're always gonna be your worst critic. I think that might have been the first time where I was like, kind of got a little ego. I'm like, I'm kind of hot shit. I'm like, my name's on a box.
You need to go from $100 a commission to fucking $3,000. Like, hey, you gotta schedule me early, man.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a great experience. He was like an absolute pleasure to work with. Like he was just awesome. Like we just talk all the time, and like we had similar interests. So he's like, yeah, man, you want to play some Rocket League? Like I fucking love Rocket League. So he's just a really cool guy, and that's just it was just his passion project, and I was honestly just super grateful that he reached out to me to work on it. And it's definitely a learning experience. But overall it was I'm definitely glad I did it. I look back at a lot of the art because it did go on for It went on for a while. It was naturally a pretty big project, and I was still fairly new to digital art at the time, so I was still improving and trying to find my style and all that. So it's something I look back on, I'm like, oh fuck, I would have done that differently. I would have moved this over here. I would have redrawn that entirely. So that's always going to suck looking at old stuff. So that's just one.
But in the end of the day, it's got to be like,
at the end of the day, yeah, it's, like we're proud of it. He's put in an absurd amount of work in that game and promos and going to conventions and having people test the game and finding publishing companies. And he's doing all the hard work. I don't envy him there. I just got to draw. But,
no, you crushed it, bro. And you also did Joey's avatar for his TikTok, Joey's plants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually just sent him a picture. I took a picture, like a selfie with a plant, and sent it to him. And then he recreated it in like an anime style. And it's great.
I love it.
And it was cool when he sent it to me. I loved it because I felt like any big TikTok page had like an anime profile. I do not like anime. I don't watch it. I can't tell you anything about it.
Right.
But I feel like any big TikTok page had an anime profile picture. So I was like, I know Randy, he does.
Okay, cool.
He can do it.
Yeah, that was a fun one to work on.
And it turned out great.
Yeah, that's definitely one I look at. I'm like, fuck, I just want to redo this.
Really?
Yeah. But no, I'm glad you like it for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It matches his page really well. I got a nice little question to go ahead and close us out here.
Okay.
Question of the day.
Oh, God.
Which SpongeBob episode would you rank number one? Because growing up, dude, holy fuck, we were obsessed with SpongeBob, bro. Our whole childhood was just us referencing SpongeBob. Anything we did, it was like we're gonna make like a SpongeBob reference to it. Like that was our fucking show as a kid, man.
Right.
Especially yours. You were like a SpongeBob maniac growing up. I don't know what it's like now, man, but which one would you rank? There's so many seasons, bro. Like, which one are you ranking number one? Which one stands out to you the most?
So, God damn, that is a very hard question.
Isn't it?
It's one of like season 3 was like peak SpongeBob. It was like unbeatable. Like I'll still like for some reason I'm just like scrolling on YouTube. I'll just go down this rabbit hole for like an hour. It's like SpongeBob, like it's episode 4 of season 3, and I'll just sit there and like I won't even mean to click on it. I'm like, oh fuck, SpongeBob, I'll watch this real quick, and then I just watch SpongeBob for an hour as an adult. I'm like, it still holds up so well.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Probably, I'm gonna think of a better one later, probably, but one that like my sister and I like never fail to lose our shit at is the I forget exactly what it's called, but it's the Where's My Dime episode. So basically, Mr. Krabs checks the register, and he sees that it's missing one dime, and he accuses Squidward of stealing it. So Squidward gets fired, and then he basically gets homeless, and he's like living with SpongeBob. And SpongeBob is like, because like especially in the later seasons, like I'm going way too in depth on this.
No,
cartoon,
you go
but,
fucking go.
No, so yeah, SpongeBob's like always like he's always like the annoying one. He's always pissing everyone off. And he's like always just happy go lucky. But this episode, he just like loses his shit and gets like pissed off at Squidward. And it's like without a doubt, just like Blythe and I will like still like talk about it like to this day, and then just like lose it because it's just hysterical and it holds up so well.
I'm gonna have to go with that one's a fucking go episode, bro. That one is so funny. I one of my favorite ones was when SpongeBob had no friends anymore and all he had was Chip, Penny, and used napkin.
That's a classic one.
Used fucking napkin. Then Gary comes and eats a chip. He's like, "No chip, chip."
Yeah, I remember that one because he was scared to go outside.
Oh yeah,
I forget why there was
something going on. Yeah,
there was a gorilla outside at one point. That's a hilarious episode. I think that's another season 3 one. I think just everything in that
wasn't it because his breath was stank. He had stinky breath, so he had no friends.
That was a different one.
Okay. Was it?
But yeah, I think when he's in his house, he's like locking himself in, so he can't go outside and talk to anybody because he's scared that the gorilla's going to attack him.
Yeah. Dude, that was for sure the best cartoon of all time. No doubt, bro. Mm-hmm. All right, man. Anything else, boys? I'm super dude, I'm so glad we finally did this episode. Like, all my listeners know that a big thing that I've been trying to incorporate into the podcast is just doing these episodes with my friends and with like people that I've like spent like a lot of my fucking life with. You know what I mean? I think it's so cool to come on here and like share these experiences and just kind of like allow the listeners to know a little bit more about obviously who my guest is, but about myself as well. You know what I mean? And dude, I appreciate you coming through. This was a fucking vibe. And you're the man, bro, for real.
No, thanks for having me on. I've been observing it from a distance for a while, and definitely checking it out. It's like, looks like you really got a good thing going, and secretly is hoping you'd ask me to be on. So, but no, it was a good time. So yeah, it was a lot of fun actually.
Yeah, man, I'd love to get you back on like season 3 or something. You know, just get a little update on what's going on with your life, bro. And all my OGs that are watching this, man, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. If you guys want to see more of my friends, you want to see more just like casual episodes, man, where I feel like am I most comfortable and we're all just like chilling, having a good time. Like, you guys comment on this video. Let me know what you guys are feeling about it. Let me know if you liked it. Because in the end of the day, we make content that you guys prefer and what you guys like. So that's the main goal of everything, is just keep y'all entertained, man. So I hope this did just that. So once again, man, shout out Randy. Go ahead and plug in your socials, everything that they can find you on. Are you still open for commissions? You still doing that shit?
Commission's closed right now. I open them back up. Usually I'll have a tag in my bio if I am like taking them. But yeah, it's Groovy Smooth on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. I'm just trying to stream like every like week or two. I don't have a consistent schedule right now, so you might see me on there. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Yeah, you're killing it, bro. And also, you've got a nice little following on Instagram, right?
A little bit, yeah.
What do you got on Instagram?
Shit.
You're over 10K, right?
No, I'm about like 7,500 something like that.
Okay, yeah, you're moving though.
But,
like, bro, that's been a steady grind, and all your posts get a shit ton of fucking engagement. It's like it's pretty dope.
I don't know about all that.
You're doing it, bro. You're definitely rocking. And if you guys haven't seen my boy Randy's Instagram yet, like go check out Groovy Smooth for sure. Like the handle's already so sick. You need to go check it out just for that, man. So shout out Joey for coming in here and being my co-host, man. You're the fucking shit.
Of course, I love doing this,
dude. You are a goat, man.
It's
and
fun.
And this trio right here will be in the ocean a lot this year.
Yep.
No doubt about that.
Can't wait.
So man, once again, shout out everybody for being here. Shout out everybody for watching. You guys are the shit. We out.